It is now time for this.
Lovely cushion header. But Gerrard! You beauty! What a head, son! What a head! The European Cup is returning to England and to Anfield. Liverpool are champions of Europe again. 4 added minutes. And Gerrard!
Yep, that's correct. The man who made 710 Liverpool appearances, 186 goals, all while in a Champions League, UEFA Cup, UEFA Super Cup, 3 League Cups, 2 FA Cups, as well as making 114 England appearances. It's time to say a very good morning to Steven Gerrard. Steven, good morning.
Good morning, Stevie.
Good morning, chaps. How are we doing?
We're in top form. The first question I've got to say, how did we manage to get you and you're not in a paddle court?
Good question. I'm on my way to work, actually. I'm on my way to Madrid to watch the big one tonight, and then over to Paris tomorrow. So looking forward to the next couple of days of footy.
Some great games, mate. Some great games. I'm looking forward. I'll catch up with you in Paris, obviously, tomorrow. Looking forward to seeing you. But I want to talk to you, if I may, first of all, Stephen, about Liverpool. I was at the game at the weekend. Just in general, clearly it's not been the best of season so far, right? But I was at the game on Saturday, and I thought after half an hour, I thought Manchester City were putting as good a performance as I've seen them play in a long, long time, and Liverpool kind of crumbled a little bit. But first 30 minutes, they weren't without their chances.
No, they had the chances, which they never took, and I think we all know in the big games, you've got to take your chances when they come along, and take nothing away from City. They were outstanding over the course of the game, but it was really worrying and concerning the way Liverpool did crumble. And also even more alarming what the players are saying after the game in terms of saying there's no fight. We gave the game up. Liverpool Football Club, that can't happen on the pitch, and it certainly can be said off the pitch. So worrying times, I must say.
Steve, I wanted to ask you about Mo Salah. We know he's leaving out at the end of the season. What player do you think Liverpool have to go out and get to replace him? And also, how much has Mo Salah missed Trent on that right-hand side this season?
Yeah, I think the concern, if you're trying to replace Salah in terms for like, I think there's very few out there that you can go and grab. Elise would be one, I would say, but I don't think he'd be available. But from experience being around Liverpool as a player, and also since I've left, Liverpool's recruitment team will have different options, and that doesn't necessarily mean they'll look for a like-for-like. When we had to replace Mane, for example, we went for Diaz, who's slightly different, if you like. Or, when Suarez has left or Suarez has left, they've had different types of options to try and replace the players. But Liverpool have got a fantastic record of replacing top players that have gone before. So I've got every confidence from a recruitment point of view that they'll have different types of options, not necessarily a like-for-like. But one thing is for certain, they have to try and replace some kind of his goal involvement in terms of goals and assists, which is extremely difficult because he's been incredible for Liverpool for many years.
He has, Stephen. I've got to say, I think it's nearly impossible to, replace him like for like. But the one thing I would ask you, I'm watching him, and I watched him closely at the weekend, mate. And he has, without doubt, been one of the best players that this league has ever seen. But I'm watching him, Stephen, and I can't believe I'm actually looking at a man who looks devoid of any real confidence. I mean, I'm looking at it, and it just seems as though he's gone from such a height to such a kind of drop. And I felt, rightly or wrongly, mate, I felt a little bit of sadness watching it. That kind of decline in confidence and it was witnessing right in front of my eyes.
Yeah, listen, I think in terms of the sadness, I'm feeling that more than you. Let me tell you, in terms of watching them individually and collectively, because they've come so far away from the team identity, what they've set in terms of standards for the past years. They've been so high collectively, and Mo Salah's been at the forefront of that. So they've set such high standards. To come so far away from that, it's very noticeable. Let me tell you right now, Ali, you're not feeling as sad as me right now. But listen, I think they've got an opportunity here this week to try and galvanise something from the season. I think so far, the players have admitted it, the managers have admitted it hasn't been good enough. But they've still got a chance this week, and it's a huge week on the back of a really poor performance against Manchester City. They've got to stand up and be counted individually and collectively. They've got to stick together, and they've got to try and grasp the opportunity of putting pressure on the likes of Aston Villa and United from a league point of view with the Fulham game, which I think is arguably just as important as the two Champions League games. And they've just got to go and give it everything they've got against this PSG team and try and take the game to Anfield next week, use the crowd and try and galvanise something from the season. Because if the week goes the other way, and they don't do that and they don't try and galvanise something from the season, unfortunately the pressure, the heat, the intensity is going to come even more on the players and certainly on Ali Slots as well, which from a fan point of view right now I don't want to see.
When you look at the situation with the manager, Steven, you look at the weekend, Liverpool fans obviously leaving the stadium quite early, not happy with the performance. When you look at Arne Slot, the job he's done, fantastic winning the Premier League in his first season. But how important is Champions League qualification for the manager?
I think it's key, Gabby, I must say, and that's why I say, in the previous question, that I think the Fulham game is just as important. And I think, if the ownership and the people above, they see that gap to Villa and United stretches or gets any worse, I worry for the manager's position. I don't want to see that happen. I'm a huge fan of Arne Slot. I was blown away by his first season, I must say. He's a good man. He's obviously a very, very good coach. The job he done in his... Look, I think the key to this situation will be the Fulham game in terms of, if he can put more heat on United and Villa and he can stay in the PSG game into next week, I think everything will be fine and in a better place in 5-6 days' time. But if this was to get any worse, I'd be worried to the manager, I must say.
Jay, yes, there's no doubt there's been negative, Stephen, but I'm going to throw a positive at you. Your old number 8 jersey, Szoboszlai, I think is having a great season. Some of his free kicks, some of his goals, just his general play. He's certainly been a plus, hasn't he?
100%. Certainly being Liverpool's most consistent player. I think Ekitike run him close.
Yeah.
For a period of time, he seems to have fell away a little bit in his last couple of Liverpool performances, although he went away with France and done well, and I'm a big fan of him. But you'd have to say that in terms of in the running for player of the season for Liverpool has to be Szoboszlai. He's been amazing. He's been versatile. And he's been exciting. I think he's added world-class strikes and free kicks to his game. And I think, the future's really bright for him. I think he's only going to get better and better. I've been really impressed with him.
Steve, I want to ask you about Trent. You go into the game tonight. It'll be a great game to go and watch. And he's going to have a tough task, isn't he? Because you know better than anyone what Luis Diaz can do. He's been in great form this season for Bayern Munich. But are you surprised that Trent hasn't been included by Thomas Tuchel in a 35-man squad?
Yes. And even more surprised if you look at the last two England games. I think it was crying out for Trent-like quality in terms of, that creation that you need against Uruguay, against Japan. You need someone who's going to be able to open the door, or someone off the bench who can come on and improve things if things are not going how you want them to go. So for him to not be in the 35 best England players for me is a huge shock. Very surprised, and the only good and positive thing about that is he's got time to resurrect it. I'm not in Thomas Tuchel's shoes, but if I was, first thing I would have been doing after the Japan game is getting on the phone back to Trent and saying, listen, it's not over for you, son, on the back of them two performances.
Well, that's what I was going to say to you, Stephen. Regarding the two performances in friendlies, I know, and we can read into them what we want, but it certainly looked to me that it was one of those squads, if you like, where you can become a better player not being involved in the two games, and you'll know what I mean by that. And Trent might just be the case for Trent.
Listen, we've all been in that situation where you're suspended or you're injured and the team don't do well, and then everyone thinks you're better than what you are. I know we've all been there, but I don't think the get-together's done Trent any harm at all. Listen, it was an experimental international break. It can go either way. You can win comfortably in both games, and then the nation gets carried away and more pressure on the players. I think it was a bit of a reality check, a bit of a wake-up call, but I have no doubt when he gets his best players back in the squad and back on the pitch, i.e. your Kanes, your Declan Rices, your Jude Bellinghams, and you get your proper pillars in that team, your proper keeper in place, and a settled back four. There's no doubts about it that these group of players have proved they can go the distance. And what I mean by that is semi-finals and finals. And I have no doubt they can go and have another huge, massive effort in the summer. But the last international break was a washout. Yeah. And in terms of some of the managers' personal decisions, I don't agree with, because I think that these players can make a difference for them come the summer.
Stevie, we've had so many different people have different opinions on Jude Bellingham. I mean, I love the lad. I think he's a fantastic player. Big player for Real Madrid as well. Would you have him starting in the World Cup for England?
Well, I think, listen, there's 6 to 10 games left of the season for everyone, for all these England players, and I think it's really important for all of them that they try and finish the season in a good place, that they remain healthy, that they try and get their top form back on the pitch. And there's no doubt about it, if Jude Bellingham is at it and he's at his best physically and he's playing really well for Real Madrid, in my opinion, he starts in the England team. But this goes for all of the players. If they're carrying knocks or injuries, or they're a doubt, or they're chasing fitness, you know, and I know, Gabby, to go into these tournaments, unless you're 100% at it, it's virtually impossible to perform at that level in the heat on the back of a tough season. You have to be close to your best, certainly from a physical point of view.
Steve, just a quick one on Bellingham. Interesting to hear your opinion on this, or would it depend on the opposition? If you're starting a fit, I think a fit Bellingham starts. It's as simple as that. I genuinely do. Who do you start him? Are you starting him as a 10 or an 8? Would you start him a little bit further forward or a little bit further deeper?
I think it depends who you're playing, Ali. I think if you're playing against a team where you're going to have all the possession and you're trying to open the door and you're playing against these low blocks, I think you can afford to have him as a 10. As an 8, and you can have a Morgan Rogers in there as well. We've got to be bold, we've got to be exciting, you've got to have people on the pitch that are going to be able to have the quality to open these stubborn defensive teams up. But if we're playing against a team where it's more of a 50-50, or we're like underdogs, if you like, I would definitely stiffen it up and have the extra midfielder in there, i.e. an Anderson with a Rice.
Tell you, Stephen, I mean, frankly, enough about this English football. I've been dying to ask you for 15 minutes. What about the title race up here, mate? It's unbelievable. I've got to say to you, mate, Danny Rowe, even if Rangers don't win it, how Danny Rowe has managed to get Rangers back in this with a chance of winning the league's remarkable, mate.
Listen, he's been phenomenal. What was it, 13 points off the top? I mean, and what a job. And he's come in, he said all the right things. He's tweaked things on the pitch. He's signed good players in January. I think he's been immaculate. But how good is it, Ali, when you win on a Saturday and you can just, you're ready for your roast dinner and all that on the Sunday, and then you watch the others playing the pressures on the others. It's brilliant, isn't it?
It's tremendous, mate.
Stevie, I want to ask you about yourself now. What's next for you, mate, in your managerial career? Because like me and Ali, big admirers of you, you got so much to give as a coach and manager. Has the project got to be right for you to come back?
I thought I was coming on to talk about me and you grilled me about Liverpool. Listen, I'm more ready than I have been. My family are back home at Liverpool school. Kids are all settled at school. I'm more ready than they have been. I'm all ears. But at the same time, I'm not chasing. I'm not searching. I'm not desperate. I'm in a good place. Work-life balance is fantastic at the moment. But if the right opportunity comes, I'm all ears to listen to that. But I'm having a fantastic time at CNC with Ali and the boys and the girls, really enjoying it. Covering some good games and big games. I'm excited to take my little lad to watch the next couple of Champions League games. And, in a really good place, and I'm ready for opportunities. If not, I'm happy that we work-life balance. Life's good, no complaints at all.
I think it's brilliant, mate. I mean, let's just think about the next 2 days, right?
Wow.
Real Madrid, Bayern Munich, and PSG Liverpool. Absolutely cannot get any better. I want a quick one before I let you go. Harry Kane, I'm hoping he's fit. I don't think he played against Freiburg on Friday. This is going to be a silly question, right? But has he actually surprised you a little? Because he has surprised me a little bit. Listen, I know he's absolutely top class. I've always liked him. I've always enjoyed watching him. I think he's a top finisher. But I think he's actually gone to another level again, Stephen.
Yeah, listen, I love him just as much as you. I mean, you'll know more about strikers than me, but he's been absolutely phenomenal for club and country. And I agree in terms of his numbers and his volume and what he's doing over in Germany. He's been phenomenal. I just hope he can continue this form going into the World Cup, because I think he's key and instrumental in terms of where we get to. So, you know, we need to sort of hope that he comes out of the season well in terms of a physical point of view, and he can come and finish the season off with glory for England. But I love Harry Kane. I love everything about him.
Yeah.
His game everyone talks about his goals and his numbers, but his game intelligence, the way he drops in, his game understanding. He's a world-class player. I don't care what anyone says. He's world-class, and he always has been in my view.
Stevie, I can't let you go without asking you about Padel. I mean, I love it. I know you love it.
There's a challenge coming on, mate.
No. Ali started it. Do me a favour, on Wednesday in Paris, can you find somewhere to smash Ali all across the court, please, mate?
Well, listen, I put my shoes in. I haven't brought me back, but I put my shoes in just in case. But listen, I'm warming up. I'm getting better. Wasn't the best when I first started a couple of years ago, but with a couple of years practice, I'm getting better. So I'm ready for anyone.
Well, your mate McManaman gave me a going over the last time on Madrid, mate. I can't lie to you. He gave me a right doing.
He's probably got one in his back garden, not telling anyone.
Listen, mate, thanks for coming on. I need to tell you a quick one, Stephen. I've normally got people shouting in my ear, we need to go to the news, we need to go to a break. It's gone all quiet this morning, funnily enough.
Well, I'm pulling up at the airport, so I can't give you any more. That's enough feeling for me.
Thank you, legend.
Enjoy your prep. I'll see you tomorrow. All the best, mate.
Top man.
Take care. Bye-bye.